Welcome, and thank you for joining this quiet journey tonight. This is your time to relax, to let go of the day, and to gently drift into a world of soft stories and peaceful dreams. Find a comfortable place, settle in, and allow your body to feel heavy, warm, and supported. Let your breathing become slow, steady, calm. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a quiet village as twilight settles in. The sky is painted in soft shades of lavender and gold, and the rooftops are bathed in the last glow of the sun. A gentle breeze carries the faint scent of flowers, freshly cut wood, and the cool freshness of evening air. Listen carefully. You may hear the soft rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of a creek, or the quiet footsteps of someone or something moving softly through the night. Tonight, we will wander through stories that have traveled across centuries. Stories filled with gentle magic, with lessons of kindness, courage, and wonder. Each tale moves slowly, with care, so that your mind can drift easily, your thoughts softening, and your body settling into comfort. There is no rush here. No loud voices or sudden events. Only soft words, calm imagery, and the slow unfolding of magical moments. Let your imagination wander freely, letting each story paint a picture of quiet forests, cozy workshops, twinkling stars, and gentle creatures moving in the shadows. Take a deep breath in, and let it flow out slowly. Another deep breath, filling your lungs with calm, releasing any tension with each exhale. Feel your body sink a little deeper into comfort. Let your eyelids become heavy, your mind peaceful, your heart steady and calm. And now, as the world grows quiet and the night wraps around you like a soft blanket, let us step gently into our first story, a tale of tiny elves working in a humble little workshop, weaving quiet magic into the night, preparing for a world of dreams and gentle wonder. Tonight, we begin with a gentle tale called The Elves and the Shoemaker. It is a story of quiet magic, kindness, and the unexpected helpers who appear when we least expect them. Imagine a small, cozy workshop, bathed in moonlight, where tiny, careful hands work silently through the night. Once upon a time, in a small, quiet village, there lived a humble shoemaker. His little shop was tucked away at the corner of a cobblestone street, surrounded by the soft murmur of the townspeople and the gentle rustling of trees. Every morning, the sun would rise slowly over the rooftops, spilling warm, golden light across the wooden floor of his workshop. The shoemaker worked diligently, stitching and cutting leather with careful hands. Though he was skilled, there were days when he had barely enough to make ends meet. One cold evening, as he sat at his workbench, he noticed that he had no leather left to finish the shoes he was making. He sighed quietly, knowing that tomorrow would be another day of struggle. That night, after locking his shop and heading home, something unusual happened. In the quiet darkness, tiny figures crept softly through the door he had forgotten to close. They were elves, small, gentle creatures, barely taller than a boot, with nimble fingers and a mysterious glow in their eyes. They moved silently, picking up scraps of leather and thread, and began to craft shoes. The elves worked with remarkable care, stitching each piece perfectly, smoothing every edge until the shoes were flawless. By morning, the shoemaker returned to his shop, expecting an empty table and unfinished work. Instead, he found several pairs of beautiful shoes neatly arranged, shining as if touched by magic. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief, feeling a warmth in his chest. From that day forward, the shoemaker's work flourished. Each evening, after he left, the elves would quietly enter and continue their craft, leaving behind perfect shoes for him to sell. He never saw them, but he always sensed their presence. Every stitch seemed infused with love, and the village noticed the beauty of his shoes. Slowly, the shoemaker's humble life became filled with comfort and quiet happiness, all thanks to the tiny helpers who worked in the stillness of night. The shoemaker, grateful and curious, often wondered who could be helping him. But he never tried to stay awake at night to find out. He thought it best to let the mystery remain, for there was a gentle magic in not knowing, a quiet comfort in the unseen. He would wake each morning to find the shoes perfectly made, and a soft smile would touch his lips as he ran his fingers over the smooth leather. With the extra income from the beautifully crafted shoes, the shoemaker was able to buy fresh leather, soft thread, and tiny tools that made his work even easier. Yet, he never lost his modesty. He kept his little shop simple, the same cozy space with warm sunlight streaming through the window, the same familiar scent of leather and polish. Life continued in a gentle rhythm, each day flowing into the next, peaceful and serene. One evening, as winter approached and the nights grew longer, the shoemaker thought of the elves and how they must be working silently in the cold. He decided to do something small, a token of his gratitude. He took a piece of soft cloth and carefully stitched tiny coats, mittens, and little shoes, just the right size for the elves. Then, he left them on his workbench, neatly arranged, and went to bed with a quiet heart. When morning came, the gifts were gone. In their place were even more beautifully crafted shoes, shining brighter than ever. The shoemaker laughed softly, a warm, happy sound that filled the little workshop. He knew the elves had accepted his gift, though he never saw them. The quiet magic of their friendship had made the cold winter nights feel less lonely, and the little shop seemed to glow with a gentle, invisible warmth. And so, the shoemaker's days continued, calm and steady. The elves worked silently, the shoes grew more exquisite, and the village continued to admire the craftsmanship that seemed touched by some secret, tender magic. In the peaceful rhythm of this small world, with the sun rising and falling over the cobblestone streets, the shoemaker found a deep contentment. He never felt alone, for he knew that kindness, unseen but always present, could transform even the quietest life into something quietly extraordinary. Tonight, we enter the magical and gentle world of Mother Holle. This is a story of kindness, patience, and the quiet rewards that come from helping others. Imagine a hidden realm beneath the earth, where soft snow falls like feathers, and every small act of care brings its own gentle magic. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by quiet forests, there lived a kind and gentle girl. Every day, she helped her mother with household chores, tidied the garden, fetched water from the well, and carried out her tasks with patience and care. Despite the simplicity of her life, she always kept her heart open and her mind calm. One afternoon, as she wandered near the edge of the forest, she noticed a well that sparkled under the soft rays of the sun. Curious, she leaned over, but the golden spindle she carried slipped from her hands and tumbled into the water. She tried to grasp it, but it sank too far. Her heart sank, and she let out a soft sigh, feeling a quiet sadness wash over her. Suddenly, the ground beneath her shifted. She felt herself floating down slowly, as if cradled by the air itself, drifting into a world that seemed bathed in gentle light. The trees were taller here, their leaves rustling softly, whispering songs of peace. Flowers leaned toward her path, their petals brushing gently against her sleeves. Birds perched high above sang lullabies that seemed to ripple through the air, each note tender and calm. A woman appeared, radiant and serene. Her presence filled the space with warmth and comfort. She smiled at the girl and beckoned her closer. This was Mother Holle, the caretaker of seasons and quiet magic. She spoke in a soft voice, inviting the girl to help with simple chores, each movement a lesson in care and patience. The girl's tasks were simple, yet each carried a quiet joy. She shook out feather beds, and the feathers floated down like gentle snowflakes. She wove baskets, arranged flowers in the sunlight, and listened to the wind whispering through the trees. Every act seemed to ripple with calm energy, filling the girl's heart with warmth and peace. Days passed gently, with the soft rhythm of morning and evening. Mother Holle observed the girl, rewarding her diligence with smiles and subtle gifts. The longer she stayed, the more she understood the magic of small, caring actions. She learned that every feather placed, every flower arranged, and every chore done with kindness made the world a little softer and brighter. When it was finally time to return home, the girl felt a deep calm within her. She carried with her gifts from Mother Holle, treasures that reflected her own goodness. She returned to her family, and they noticed the serenity in her eyes, the quiet joy in her smile. From that day on, her life continued in a gentle rhythm, filled with calm, warmth, and the subtle magic that lives in every act of kindness. Next, we will follow a journey of friendship and gentle adventure in the Bremen town musicians. Imagine a twilight forest where animals, old but wise, find courage and companionship together, moving quietly through the calm evening. Once upon a time, there was a donkey, growing old and no longer strong enough for work. His master planned to send him away, so the donkey set out into the quiet world. Soon, he met a dog, who had also grown old and weary, a cat who had lost her agility, and a rooster whose crow was no longer welcomed at home. The four animals decided to travel together to Bremen, where they hoped to live freely as musicians. They walked slowly through meadows, under ancient trees, listening to the soft rustle of leaves and the distant murmur of a stream. The warm evening light wrapped them in calm, and the air was filled with the faint scent of flowers and earth. As night fell, they discovered a small cottage in the forest. Though abandoned, it radiated peace and potential. The animals sensed that with care and cooperation, they could make it a safe and joyful home. They approached it cautiously, their steps quiet, each listening to the gentle sounds around them. The animals formulated a gentle plan. The donkey stood tall, the dog crouched silently, the cat stretched and listened, and the rooster climbed upon the donkey's back. Together, they made a small noise that startled the robbers living there. Startled and frightened, the robbers fled into the night, leaving the cottage empty. Inside, the animals arranged soft blankets and explored their new home. They discovered the warmth of companionship, the comfort of quiet spaces, and the satisfaction of shared effort. The forest outside was calm and protective, offering gentle sounds and soft moonlight to accompany their nights. They lived each day in harmony, supporting one another with care and patience. Their music, soft and melodious, filled the cottage, bringing peace and subtle joy. In this gentle rhythm, they learned that courage and friendship, even in quiet forms, could create safety, happiness, and a calm sense of belonging. We enter the tiny yet brave world of Tom Thumb. This story shows that courage and cleverness, even in the smallest of beings, can turn everyday challenges into quiet adventures. Once upon a time, a tiny boy named Tom Thumb was born to a humble couple. Though small as a thumb, he had a sharp mind, a brave heart, and a curious spirit. His parents cherished him deeply, and Tom moved through the world with care and attentiveness. Tom's size allowed him to explore places that others could not. He wandered along soft, moss-covered paths, under gentle beams of sunlight, and through tall blades of grass that brushed softly against his shoulders. He observed the world carefully, noticing the small creatures, the delicate flowers, and the quiet streams that others might overlook. Each day, he learned new ways to help others. He met animals in need, villagers with small problems, and tiny adventures that required clever thinking and patience. His courage and intelligence, though quiet, made a noticeable difference in every life he touched. One day, Tom Thumb ventured deeper into the forest and discovered a family of birds who had lost their nestlings. Carefully, he climbed, guided them back to their home, and watched the young birds snuggle safely. The soft rustle of feathers and gentle songs of gratitude filled the air, calming his heart and bringing quiet joy. In all his small journeys, Tom Thumb learned that bravery was not loud or forceful. It was calm, steady, and thoughtful. Even the smallest beings could make meaningful changes when they acted with care and awareness. Each quiet adventure, each soft act of courage, transformed the world gently, leaving a trail of calm and wonder wherever he went. Tonight, we enter the whimsical world of the Golden Goose. This is a story of kindness, curiosity, and the gentle surprises that can come into our lives. Imagine a quiet village, soft sunlight spilling over rooftops, and a young man about to discover a touch of magic that will change everything. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by rolling hills and meadows, there lived a kind and humble young man named Dummling. He was gentle and good-hearted, always willing to help anyone in need, though he was often overlooked by others because of his quiet nature. One day, as he wandered through the forest, he discovered a small, sparkling tree that glowed in the soft sunlight. Beneath it sat an old, mysterious man who seemed to radiate calm and quiet wisdom. The man spoke softly to Dummling, guiding him toward a hidden treasure, a golden goose, with feathers shining as if they captured the sunlight itself. Dumpling took the golden goose gently in his hands, feeling warmth radiate from the soft, luminous feathers. As he carried it back toward the village, he encountered villagers who tried to take it from him. Yet, when anyone reached out, something magical happened. They became gently stuck to the goose, unable to move, and yet unharmed. The goose seemed to carry its own quiet magic, teaching patience, humility, and wonder to all who encountered it. Dumpling, calm and steady, guided the villagers slowly and safely, ensuring that no one was hurt. With each step, laughter and amazement filled the air, blending with the soft rustle of leaves and the distant song of birds. By the time they reached the village square, a line of enchanted villagers had formed, each linked to the magical goose. Dumpling, patient and gentle, walked carefully through the cobblestone streets, marveling at the quiet power of kindness, courage, and gentle magic. The villagers, though at first bewildered, began to see the beauty in this gentle enchantment. Laughter and smiles replaced confusion and doubt. Dumpling's calm and good-hearted nature had turned a strange and puzzling situation into a moment of shared wonder. The golden goose, ever luminous, guided Dumpling to a castle where the king had promised his daughter's hand to any young man who could perform a brave or clever deed. The magic of the goose, combined with Dumpling's humility and patience, enchanted the entire court. The princess, amused and intrigued, could not help but smile at the calm young man with the glowing goose, and a soft, quiet joy settled over the palace halls. Through this story, we learn that gentleness, patience, and kindness carry their own magic. Even the smallest actions, performed with care and thoughtfulness, can ripple outward, touching the hearts of many. Dumpling's quiet courage transformed the ordinary into something extraordinary, and the village, the castle, and the surrounding hills were forever touched by the soft glow of the golden goose. Now, we will hear The Brave Little Tailor, a story of cleverness, courage, and gentle adventure. Imagine a small, cozy village, a tiny tailor's workshop, and a young man ready to face the world with wit and calm determination. Once upon a time, there was a tailor who worked diligently in his little shop. One day, he completed a task and, in celebration, stitched a belt with the words, 7 at one blow. Proud of his work, he wore the belt and stepped out into the world. Villagers who saw the belt assumed he had performed some incredible feat, and soon word of his bravery began to spread. The tailor, gentle and clever, was offered a journey to prove himself further. Along the way, he encountered giants, mischievous creatures, and various challenges that could have daunted a larger, stronger man. Yet the tailor relied not on strength, but on intelligence, observation, and calm resourcefulness. Each challenge was approached slowly and thoughtfully. When he met giants, he used clever tricks to appear stronger and more capable than he seemed. When confronted with puzzles or dangers, he paused, observed quietly, and acted with precision. Through patience, wit, and a calm heart, he overcame obstacles without haste or recklessness. The tale continued with the tailor traveling to distant lands, encountering situations that tested his mind as well as his courage. Through it all, he remained steady, thinking carefully about each step, always calm even when others might have panicked. Villagers and kings alike began to admire him not only for his cleverness but for his gentle demeanor and thoughtful actions. By the time he returned to his village, the tailor had become a symbol of intelligence, patience, and courage. The lessons of the story were clear: one does not need brute strength to achieve greatness. Even a small, careful, and thoughtful individual can accomplish remarkable things, and the quiet triumphs are often the most meaningful. Now, we enter the delicate and gentle story of The Girl Without Hands. This is a tale of resilience, kindness, and quiet courage. Imagine soft forests, flowing streams, and a girl whose heart remains bright even when the world challenges her. Once upon a time, a poor miller, desperate to improve his fortune, made a deal with a mysterious and powerful figure he did not fully understand. The bargain was dangerous, and the miller soon discovered the terrible cost of his choice. His daughter's hands were taken away. The girl, small and gentle, was placed in a quiet cottage at the edge of a forest. Though she had lost her hands, her spirit remained unbroken. She learned to move carefully, to feed herself, to navigate the world using her mind, her courage, and her will. Each day, the forest around her offered comfort: the gentle rustle of leaves, the soft murmur of a stream, and the warm sunlight that filtered through the trees. Despite her trials, she remained kind and thoughtful. She tended small gardens, cared for animals, and learned to make her surroundings peaceful and safe. The world she built around herself, though small and modest, reflected her inner calm and quiet strength. One day, a prince traveling through the forest came upon her. He was captivated not by her lack of hands, but by her kindness, grace, and intelligence. The girl, gentle and unassuming, welcomed him into her quiet world. They spent days walking in the woods, listening to birds, watching the sunlight dance on leaves, and sharing stories of courage and hope. The prince eventually discovered the truth of her trials, but he admired her resilience and calm heart. Over time, the girl regained her hands through a combination of courage, patience, and the subtle magic that had quietly surrounded her since childhood. The forest, the animals, and the gentle world she nurtured seemed to celebrate her triumph quietly, as if nature itself was acknowledging her courage. Her life became one of balance, calm, and gentle joy. The story reminds us that even in the face of loss or difficulty, resilience, kindness, and a steady heart can create beauty and calm in the world. Finally, we enter the magical and gentle story of The 12 Dancing Princesses. It is a tale of curiosity, patience, and quiet mystery. Imagine a palace filled with soft moonlight, 12 princesses moving gracefully, and a young man discovering a hidden world of wonder. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a king with 12 beautiful daughters. Each of them had hair like spun gold and eyes that sparkled with gentle light. Though the castle was grand and filled with warm sunlight during the day, a mysterious secret unfolded each night. Every evening, after the king and his guards retired, the princesses would quietly leave their bedrooms. No one knew how they passed through locked doors and enchanted corridors. They slipped softly through the castle, their silk slippers barely making a sound, their laughter like the gentle rustle of leaves. When morning came, their shoes were always worn through, as if they had danced all night. The king, puzzled and concerned, offered a reward to anyone who could discover their secret. Whoever could uncover where the princesses went would choose one of them as a bride and inherit the kingdom. Many brave men tried and failed, unable to solve the mystery. They returned weary, their eyes wide with frustration, for the secret passages and magical doors were cleverly hidden, and the princess's steps were lighter than the softest breeze. One day, a kind and clever young soldier arrived. Unlike the others, he did not attempt to force his way or act with impatience. Instead, he observed quietly, listening to the faint sounds of the castle at night, the whisper of curtains, the soft tap of slippers, and the faint creak of hidden hinges. He knew that to uncover the secret, he would need not only bravery but patience, cleverness, and a gentle heart. That night, he followed the princesses without being seen. He noticed that the youngest princess always carried a small, silver key. She passed it to her sisters, and one by one, they opened a hidden door beneath the grand staircase. The soldier crouched quietly, feeling the soft stone floor beneath him, and waited as the door creaked open just enough for the princesses to slip inside. He followed cautiously, stepping softly along the secret path. The corridor was long, dimly lit by tiny glowing lanterns, with walls lined with vines that seemed to hum softly in the night. The air smelled faintly of jasmine and fresh earth, and he could hear the distant sound of water trickling. It was a world untouched by the day, magical and serene, waiting silently for those who were careful enough to notice. The soldier continued along the hidden path and soon discovered a vast underground hall, shimmering with the light of enchanted lanterns. 12 princesses danced gracefully across the polished floor, their movements perfectly synchronized, as if the music itself guided them. The hall seemed endless, filled with delicate fountains, flowering vines, and the soft glow of golden chandeliers that hung like frozen stars from the ceiling. He watched in awe, careful not to disturb the scene. The music was gentle but lively, notes flowing like a calm stream through the hall, mingling with the quiet laughter of the princesses. Each of them moved with elegance and lightness, their golden hair trailing softly behind them, their skirts brushing the floor in rhythmic harmony. As he observed, he realized that this magical world was a place of freedom and joy for the princesses. Their nightly dancing was not mere mischief, it was a release, a celebration of movement, beauty, and grace. The soldier felt a soft warmth in his heart, understanding that some secrets were delicate and precious, meant to exist quietly, untouched by the harshness of the outside world. With patience, he noted each detail, the direction they walked, the subtle twists of the passage, the flickering lanterns, the sparkling fountains. He memorized the hidden doors and the gentle rhythm of the princess's steps. Though he could have rushed or tried to force the secret out, he remained calm, respecting the serenity of the scene. Finally, as dawn approached, the princesses retraced their steps, returning silently to the castle through the secret corridor. The soldier followed just far enough to see them safely return, then quietly slipped back to his room. Though he was tired, he felt a quiet exhilaration. He had uncovered the secret, but with care and gentleness, without disturbing the magic of their world. The next morning, the king eagerly awaited the soldier's report. Calmly, the young man described what he had observed: the hidden door, the underground hall, the dancing princesses, and the delicate magic that filled their nightly world. The king listened, astonished, but also deeply relieved that someone had solved the mystery with respect and thoughtfulness. As a reward, the soldier was allowed to choose a bride from the 12 princesses. But he did so wisely, understanding the value of patience, respect, and careful observation. He chose the princess whose kindness, calmness, and grace matched his own gentle heart. Together, they would continue the legacy of quiet wonder, blending courage and wisdom with gentleness and care. From that day forward, the palace continued to be a place of soft magic, calm joy, and secret beauty. The princesses danced, the soldier observed with admiration, and the kingdom learned that true cleverness and bravery are always paired with patience and respect. The story reminds us that even in mysteries and hidden worlds, gentleness, care, and observation can reveal the most extraordinary truths.